Radu's world is called Maramureș. It is a mountainous region situated in northern Romania. The day starts early in Bogdan Voda, the village where Radu lives. Everybody has his job to do. Most of the objects the villagers use, the clothes they wear, and the food they eat are made or grown locally. The inhabitants of Bogdan Voda aren't very rich, but almost everyone owns his own house. Children learn responsibility in Bogdan Voda. Radu and his two sisters, Viorica and Maria, each have their chores to do each morning. Like sweeping the courtyard. Often Radu gets up at dawn to help his father cut hay, gather wood, or take the animals to pasture. This morning there was much to do, and Radu just has time to wash before rushing off to school. Today, the lesson is about plants and vegetables. This is one of the subjects the children like best. It helps them to better understand the world they see every day. Romanian is a Latin language, and many of the words resemble French and Italian. Radu likes going to school. He is 13 and a good student. After school, what Radu likes best is helping his father, Jorge. Like everyone else in the village, Jorge is a farmer, but he also has another job. He is a wagon driver. Today, Jorge has a load of wood to deliver to a brick kiln. Bricks are made one by one using wooden molds. When they are thoroughly dried, a kiln is built. For 3 days and 3 nights, the fire is kept going. The brickmaker doesn't need a thermometer to check the temperature. He can tell by the odor. When the bricks are baked, he will close all the openings to let the fire go out. The kiln is left to cool off for 2 weeks. Then it is broken down and the bricks are ready for use. While Radu is working with his father, his sister, Viorica, is putting hemp to soak in a still part of the river. Most of the clothes worn in the village are made at home out of this material. After soaking, the hemp will be dried on the wooden fences that surround each house. Then the fibers will be separated from the rest of the plant, as the women are doing here. Later, it will be spun and woven by hand. Other women are doing the washing. Viorica has finished with the hemp and has come to help. In Bogdan Voda, old people also have their job to do, working in the fields, taking care of the grandchildren, or spinning wool. They make a useful contribution to the well-being of their families and their community. They are also the guardians of the local traditions. Mountain flowers are the inspiration for the woven and embroidered designs which decorate pillowcases, tablecloths, and napkins. The arts of embroidery and weaving, handed down from generation to generation, remain very much alive. Irina, Viorica's cousin, helps her mother to work the loom and weave the cloth. These looms can't be bought in stores. They are all handmade in the village. Wood is an important part of the Maramureș tradition. Most of the houses are made out of it, and the art of wood sculpture is highly developed. Many of the houses have beautifully carved wooden gates. Some of the men in the village go to work in the nearby forest. Often logs have to be brought down steep inclines, where even a tractor would have difficulty going. The horses are sure-footed and well-suited to this type of work. The men are using a sapenta to move the huge logs onto the loading platform. The sapenta is a simple but efficient tool that has been used for generations. The whole family comes together for the evening meal. Food in Maramuresh is simple: bean soup, bread, pickled cucumbers. Mama Liga, the yellow dish on the table, is the real staple of the local diet. Made of ground cornmeal, it can be mixed with milk, cheese, or lard. It makes a nourishing and economic dish. In the springtime, shepherds leave for the high mountain pastures to take care of the town's sheep and cows. Radu's uncle, Nikolai, is an expert at making cheese. He pours warm curdled milk through a strainer into wooden barrels. Then he beats the mixture to speed up the process of separating the different parts of the milk. Like all other children, Nikolai's youngest son, Tawada, starts his apprenticeship at an early age. The heavy part of the milk forms into curds and sinks to the bottom of the barrel. This will become the cheese. The thin liquid on top is poured out. But before the cheese can be put on the shepherd's shelf to cure, any remaining liquid has to come out. That's why it's wrapped in linen cloth and suspended in the sun. Planks could be cut faster and straighter by machine. But the craftsmen of Maramuresh are highly skilled and proud of their traditions. This is the way planks have always been made in Bogdan Voda. As the Maramuresh is a mountainous region, fertile land is rare and often located at some distance from the village. The community has tried to solve this problem by dividing up the land as equally as possible. In Romania, most of the land is collectivized. This means that it doesn't belong to individual farmers, but to the community or to the state. In Bogdan Voda, each farmer decides how much land he wants to cultivate and receives a proportionate share of the harvest. Because the people of Bogdan Voda no longer have to buy the land for themselves or for their children, they can use the money they earn to improve their homes and live better. There is also a time to play and to have fun. Picking tomatoes for supper can be fun, too. So can learning how to crochet with a bunch of little friends. Vasily, the blacksmith, always has plenty of work. There are over 200 horses in Bogdan Voda, and each one needs a new set of shoes every 2 months. Yaushka, the wheelmaker, keeps busy too. Wagons are the main form of transport in town. Radu holds the horse's bridle to keep him calm. He is helping his father and is also learning to understand and work with animals. Wagons are an important part of village life. They can go everywhere, even where a car or tractor couldn't go. And in Bogdan Voda, wagons aren't taken to a garage. They're serviced and repaired by Vasily and Yoshka. There aren't many stores in town, so when a passing gypsy caravan comes through, Radu and his sisters are sent to buy some goods. The gypsies sell it themselves. Simeon is the village kozhelkar. Helped by his wife Doka, he makes embroidered sheepskin vests called kozhaks. These vests have several layers. The first is the warm sheep wool. This is covered with a layer of fine leather, onto which hundreds of multicolored strands and pieces of leather will be woven and sewn. Everybody in Bogdan Voda has a kozhak. Many people have two, one for the weekdays and one for Sunday. It takes about a month to make one, and they are quite expensive. But they are a part of the Maramureș tradition, and each village has its own style. While many of the young people no longer wear the traditional white pants and hand-woven shirts, you'd never find them on Sunday, winter or summer, without their embroidered sheepskin jackets. The church in Bogdan Voda dates from the 18th century. It is an example of the highly developed woodworking skill of the people of Maramureș. Viorica and Maria are getting ready for Sunday. It is the day when the week's work is forgotten and everybody puts on their best clothes. On Sunday, everybody enjoys strolling and talking with his friends and neighbors. Bogdan Voda is small enough so that everyone knows everyone else, but farming is hard work, and this is the only day when people really have some time. So everybody is out on the main road. The women sit on benches and talk. Young people walk in small groups, laughing and joking. The men stand around in a circle, discussing the town's business. Certain Sundays, there is a hora. In Romania, each region has its own particular style of dancing and music, and Maramureș is no exception. This afternoon, Radu's father is busy in the field and has sent him with a wagon to pick up an injured lamb. Ion, Radu's friend, is grazing his flock about 15 kilometers from town. The black lamb probably injured his leg against a sharp rock or a protruding branch. Radu has promised to take it to the veterinarian before the evening meal. He must hurry, because the vet is very busy and has to leave later for another village. Radu knows the road well and should be home with plenty of time to spare. In Bogdan Voda, responsibility is something you learn naturally. There is much work to be done, and people can only rely on themselves and on their children. Radu is growing up, and he will be sharing more and more in the chores and the decisions that must be made. Radu is on time. The vet is an important man in the village. Animals supply eggs and milk and meat. They plow the fields and are used for transport. They're the villagers' wealth. The vet is the one who makes sure they stay healthy, and he's always busy. Today is market day. Radu's father has been thinking of buying a horse. It's a big event for a young boy, and Radu is full of anticipation. Bogdan Voda is a small town, and some of the young people think about going to the city, where there are other kinds of jobs and many kinds of distractions. Radu sometimes thinks about it too. Life in a big town seems so much easier. But Radu likes life in the country and its traditions. He likes learning things from his father and from his grandfather. He likes driving a wagon and running in the fields. Which way of life is better? It's hard to choose.